Spoiler alert, I've been quite unfocused and inconsistent this year. However, looking back at my vision board, I have achieved over half of my vision board despite being quite unfocused, quite inconsistent with some of the goals that I have set in mind since the beginning of the year. Even though I feel like I haven't been as consistent, and yet so many pieces of my vision board have come true. And I want to tell you why I think that despite being seriously unfocused, I've still been able to achieve not just my content creation goals when it comes to my vision board, but also other goals that I set in place. If you're curious to hear what that one tip is, keep on watching. So the reason why I've completed and achieved over half of my vision board is because I did things with intention. Even when I was unfocused, everything that I did was with the intent to complete that task or that goal, or the intent to really push myself forward, because I know that this is a part of the vision that I see in my life. So despite being unfocused, when I was focused in certain times, I would really do tasks with serious intention. I would envision the person that I'm trying to be, which is like in me, but we're trying to work on discipline and focus. So I would envision what that disciplined and focused person would look like, and I would execute the task in that way. So I know it sounds pretty contradictory because, I said I was pretty unfocused in certain parts of my life. I wasn't consistent, but I was still doing things with intention. So I was able to achieve some parts of my vision board. When you're doing things with intention, I don't think it really matters how focused you were previously. It's just the fact that you are focused now in the present. So whatever happened in the past doesn't really matter. What matters is the now, and the fact that you literally took the time to sit down and focus on that vision and do the things with an intention in that moment. That allows you to kind of forget your bad habits that may have kept you from being focused and disciplined like you want to be. Instead, you're really ushering in a lot of like purposeful energy in the present moments. For a lot of us who kind of are upset that we maybe haven't been as disciplined as we wanted to be this year or this semester or this season, whatever it is, the timing for you. What also holds us back the most from like continuing to achieve goals or even making progress on anything is the fact that we put ourselves down and we talk down on ourselves because we're mad that we didn't do any time management previously, and then it becomes a cycle because you talk down on yourself and then you procrastinate, and then you talk down on yourself again and you procrastinate, and just nothing really improves until you have like kind of a spark of inspiration or motivation. What's really key as well when you are in your unfocused era and you're still trying to achieve your goals is to really take yourself out of that negative mindset and realize like, hey, that was yesterday. Today is a new day. It's so funny because I was reading Dale Carnegie's How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. I DNF'd it only because I felt like I don't really need that self-help book right now. I don't know. Right now I feel great. I feel very confident, whatever. There is a passage about how focusing on what you need to get done today can really help ease anxieties and ease any worries that you have if you are somebody who worries a lot and you feel like you're not able to really live your life because you're just so focused on worrying. So I really think that's another key point if you are someone who feels like you've been very unfocused and you're beating yourself down every day. Just think, hey, that was yesterday. Today's a new day. Today's a new life. Just restart. I want to share 3 examples from my vision board to really explain and illustrate how I was able to achieve certain things with intention despite being unfocused. Number 1 is getting my dream apartment. Knowing what you want and looking for things and doing research and doing everything with intention, which is what I did with my apartment search, is so key despite how frazzled and unfocused you may feel. The first 3 months of the year was a very hectic time, like my career, my life projection. That sounds very dramatic. The trajectory of where I was seeing my life going, and also this feeling of being very stagnant and stuck. Felt very unfocused because the things that I really wanted to achieve, the goals that I really needed to come into fruition were not coming into fruition in the way that I wanted to, and also the time that I wanted it to. And it really impacted my emotions as well, because I would feel very frustrated that I couldn't look for an apartment, or I felt like, frankly, I couldn't afford the apartment that I wanted because I needed a new job that frankly paid me more because I just needed a higher salary. So, however, once the moving pieces came into place, it took a long time. I was able to really then, in the present moment, when I knew I could finally start looking for apartments and realistically like apply to apartments and tour them, that's when I was like locked in. I was focused on researching apartments. I was looking every day, making my list. I diligently researched. I was so organized and detailed with every particular thing that I needed to know about the apartment. And then when I would tour apartments, I would just like trust my gut as well, because I knew what I wanted and I wasn't going to compromise on certain aspects. I toured my current apartment. I had like 2 tours set up afterwards. But after I had toured this one, I just knew like, yep, this is the place for me, and everything just worked out in my favor. It felt like divine timing, the fact that all of those pieces had moved perfectly despite me feeling quite unfocused a couple weeks before I had actually been able to look for apartments and then apply and tour this one. Traveling was all over my vision board. Here's the thing, when it comes to jobs, I have not had a job where you have accrued PTO. At least I don't think my first job had accrued PTO, because I feel like my first job, also my first job, I got it during the pandemic. So I don't know, maybe the timing was different. Needless to say, accrued PTO is kind of new to me. You know, I'm used to you have your 3-month introductory period and then you can take PTO. However, I was not used to the fact that like you accrue your PTO every pay period. My previous jobs, I don't remember ever having to do that. I know my last job, we definitely did not have accrued PTO. We had like unlimited PTO, so you just take it whenever. You just let people know. When it was June and I was looking at my PTO, because I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have an international summer. I'm gonna be all over, all over. I was looking at my PTO. I was like, oh, I only have 4 or 5 days of PTO. My visions of traveling are down the drain. I did have a trip planned in the summer to the Hamptons, which was quite nice. If you follow me on my Instagram, TikTok, you've probably seen the shorts. I think I did put a short on YouTube Shorts as well of my travels, so check that out. But the fact that I didn't have PTO or enough PTO to do an international trip was really grating my nerves. However, I forgot like who I am. I'm the kind of person, FOMO. I have a lot of FOMO. And sometimes I have a hard time saying no to things, especially in this day and age of doing things for the plot. I wholeheartedly believe in doing things for the plot as long as it's like safe for you. Because what is life if not adventure? I kind of was just saying yes to a lot of things. And so my mom moved back to North Carolina, and with that came opportunities to travel more back to North Carolina and visit my family there. We actually ended up going to the Outer Banks. We've never been, I'm from North Carolina originally, but we never went to the Outer Banks. We just didn't know. We would go to all the other beaches, but we just didn't know the Outer Banks. I was just saying yes to different travels and just different experiences. When I think about the life that I envision, I'm the kind of person who wants to live, like I said, a life of adventure and a full life of experiences. And so what that means is I'm going to say yes to things that intrigue me, excite me, and may slightly scare me. I need to have more courage type of fear, not anything drastic. That's the kind of person that I am. I'm someone who is courageous, someone who just has a life full of experiences and bountiful memories. And so I was saying yes to things. And I went to Puerto Rico recently in September. I was able to fulfill the traveling aspect of my vision board. And hey, look, the year is not over. I still got some travels coming up. So look at me. But I was able to fulfill that part of my vision board because the intention is that I am someone who says yes and someone who has a very full life. I will still be able to travel, maybe not internationally in the way that I had envisioned specifically, but it's still like fun, exciting, and memorable experiences. Number 3, content creation. I've had so many opportunities that I'm like insanely grateful for. So many opportunities. I didn't know this would be the year of opportunities for me, which is a phrase that's on my vision board. But despite all these opportunities, I'm very unfocused because so many things happening. Like I said, like career changing, moving, traveling, all kinds of stuff happening in my life. But I have been attracting so many amazing opportunities and stepping into the kind of content creator that I hope that I can be. Despite me not being consistent with the posting, when I do these collaborations, I do these different content pieces, I do it with intention. I do it in a consistent way that requires like little to no feedback or edits. That is something that I would want to put out and something that I would want to watch. Just making sure that it's content that I am proud of. Despite me being inconsistent with the posting, I was consistent with the production. So how I created my vision board also helped with me being able to fulfill like over half of my vision board. All of the visions that I put onto the board, I did it with intention, yes, but I also made sure in a way that they all connect to each other. For example, I have a picture about money, so making sure I have a sustaining job that also connects to being able to afford my dream apartment, being able to afford traveling, being able to afford going out and living my best life and being the woman who is saying yes and being courageous and having a very colorful, flavorful life. So I would definitely recommend when you're putting together a vision board, making sure that your top priority visions all connect to each other, because that will also help you continue to do things with intention. And so that is how I was able to fulfill over half of my vision board despite being so unfocused. But thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you guys in my next one.